And I've got some company on my mat. He still prefers my mat to his bed. That was Steve Harvey. So, welcoming you to our 45-minute sunrise flow this morning. Getting our day off to a good start already. Setting yourself up here 7 a.m. on your mat is a great place. So, a great achievement. Finding some softness here through the shoulders and the jaw and all of the facial muscles as you settle in, either seated or supine. Finding a long spine, some grounding down through the sit bones. If you're seated, maybe tucking the shoulder blades back, opening the chest, seated or lying down. So allow yourself to arrive in this present moment, just taking these first few moments before we begin to move, as they're really valuable to help us kind of settle and ground, come into the present moment, be present for our breath and sensations in our bodies. Noticing too how you're arriving on your mat energetically this morning. Every morning is different. Some mornings are more of a struggle. Some mornings we just kind of pop out of bed and feel ready to go. Some of you may have already had some movement in your day. Noticing whatever you happen to find in the body as you comb through the body, muscle, bone, tissue, organs. Notice what's speaking to you and meeting that without judgment. Awareness is what we're going for here, so that we can give ourselves what we need on our mats today in our practice. So as I guide you this morning, feel free to always make it your practice. So if there's somewhere you'd like to linger a little longer, or something I'm not cueing that you'd like to include in your practice, it is your practice. Feel free to do so. Let's come into a few rounds of deeper breathing here. I'll guide you through a counting breath, and then I'll let you take it on your own. So we're going to inhale to a count of 4 and exhale to a count of 5. So empty the lungs, breathe out, exhale. Inhaling now for 1, 2, 3, 4, slight pause, and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, little pause. Exhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can carry on if you like with that count or your own count. Last counting breath here. And then just let your breath settle into a rhythm that feels natural for you. Remain with that ebb and flow of your breath now and throughout your practice, coming back to it in your day when you need something to focus on, maybe a moment of calm, a little bit of spaciousness in the mind. You can always create that with your breath coming into the moment. And the present moment is where your strength lies, where peace lies. If you'd like to, you can bring to mind an intention for your practice. It might be a statement in the affirmative sense in the present. I am whatever that might be, a particular emotion you'd like to cultivate or way you'd like to show up in the world. A little reminder. And then we'll begin to move now, just gently dropping the chin toward the chest, and you can keep the eyes closed if you want. Sit down. Good morning. Sit. And then, if you want to, you can interlace your fingers, place them behind the skull, just for a little bit more there, the upper spine. But being very careful here, obviously, not to tug or pull. There you go. Get settled. And then bring your gaze back up to center. Here, let's take the arms and raise them up high with a full breath in. And then draw the palms to the heart with the exhale. And as we inhale, let's open to cactus arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades, get active. Exhale, release the hands, low back, interlace the fingers. Draw the chest open once more with a full breath in. And as you exhale, settle the hands over to the right hip. So keeping them interlaced, and then we'll draw the right ear towards the right shoulder. So tilt the head there in that direction. If you notice this is just a bit much this morning, you can just release your hands and extend your left arm out. And then for a different variation, just rotate your gaze down. So just keep the chin in, close, drop towards the collarbone as you look towards your hip. Take another full breath here, really releasing, relaxing through the jaw, sending the breath to wherever you feel you need release most. And then let the head fall forward, left ear making its way to left shoulder, and then the fists coming over to that left hip. Then find that different variation here where you're sort of tucking your chin in towards your collarbone, looking to your left hip. And then the hands can just rest wherever you'd like, maybe on the lap as you move through some semicircle or full circle neck rolls, or hold in any position along that 360-degree travel or 180. And then after your last breath, just come back to a neutral forward gaze, taking the crown high towards the sky again. Let's switch the crisscross of the legs. Even things out there a little bit in the hips, just walk the hands forward. Coming to a forward fold here, spine nice and long. Notice where you're feeling this. This is a deep one, first thing in the morning. It might be very subtly that you move forward. Don't need to come forward. There's no predetermined distance you need to walk your hands forward. You're just listening to your body, your low back, mid back, shoulders, neck. Maybe you let the head just drape here, let it drip off the top of the spine. Hands are going to walk over to the right now, keeping that reach long so that maybe your torso is leaning over your thigh and knee on the right side. You might need to push a little bit into the hands so you're not rolling forward off of that left sit bone. Slowly walking the hands back through center, forward, keeping that long reach, walking them over to the left. And I'm kind of pressing into my left palm to keep the hips grounded, but reaching a little longer with my right fingertips. So my side body stretch here too, or through the back and the hip. And then walking the hands back to center so that we can press back up to a seat. Let's take our hands behind us, just ground them down. Fingers can point in whatever direction feels good. We'll uncross the legs, take the feet a little wider than hip distance, and just begin to sort of windshield wipe the knees side to side, switch them back and forth. Maybe pressing a little bit as you bring that knee that's on top, bring that hip forward a little bit. The next time the knees come over to the right, we're going to try to find a 90-90 here. That bending the, I've got my right shin along the top edge of my mat. You might have yours along the side edge of your mat. So parallel to an edge of your mat. And then your left thigh also parallel to that same edge of the mat, bringing a 90-degree bend into both knees. So just check, it's kind of a visual check we do first. And then we'll lean back a little bit on a bit of a diagonal. Ground the hands, roll that hip open as you press the knee down, that top hip. So your left hip, imagine trying to roll the hip back and then keep pressing into your knee. Press it towards the earth. And open the chest here too. 2 more breaths. And then keep the legs as they are. Just walk your torso back up. Turn to face your right shin and then fold forward here. Just a different version of pigeon. Coming forward as far as is comfortable for you. Maybe you're leaning right onto that leg with your torso and chest. Maybe you bring a block under the forearms. Maybe you're staying high on your hands. A couple more breaths here. And let's release. We'll come back to forward facing, bring the knees up to center, and then just switch them to the other side, finding that 90-90 deer pose. On the other side, this time the left shin and the right thigh are parallel to each other, finding those 90-degree bends in the hip and the knees. And then walk your hands back, thinking about rotating that right hip open, pressing the right knee down at the same time, and open through the chest. Full breath in and out. And then just softly making your way upright, turning to face your left shin this time. Take the hands and walk them in front of the shin. You can keep the arms lengthened, soften to the forearms or block or right down. And release when you're ready. We're going to make our way to tabletop, so you can just roll over onto your hips and then come to your knees, hands and knees here. For some nice gentle spinal movement, finding cat-cow, dropping the belly as you inhale, look forward, and then rounding the spine as the tail and the head droop down and the spine rounds high. So work with your breath. And once you've got a rhythm there, maybe you stay here or you feel intuitively as you want to, as if you want to move a little bit more creatively, then feel free to do that. Just keeping the movement gentle for the spine. But you might get a little bit of action laterally if you roll the torso or slither like a snake. Maybe you want to flow back and forth a little bit. Another breath here. And then we'll meet back in our neutral spine. And from here, let's extend the right leg back and tuck the toes so they're connected to the mat, and just rock back and forth a few times. Maybe noticing a nice opening there in the fascia, bottom of your foot. And then pick that right heel up to hip height. Draw your core up and in, your belly button up and in towards your spine. Feeling that engagement all around the waist. Heel reaching back, glute and hamstring engaged on the right side. Then let's bend our right knee and take a few pulses here, just pressing the sole of the foot up as if you want to stamp it to the ceiling. And bringing the knee back in line with the hip, so not dipping it down or swinging it too much. A couple more little pulses. And then find that extension once more. Bring the knee back to meet the left knee. And on the left side now, tuck the left toes as you reach the leg back and long, rocking a few times. Clicking and cracking, baby. And then find stillness. We'll lift the leg up and connect here with the hips parallel to the earth. Very active in that left leg. Supporting limbs are working here as well. Core is drawn up and in. Connect here for another breath, a full breath in and out. And then we'll start those pulses, bending the left knee, and just at your own pace, press the sole of the foot up towards the sky. And then lower knee back in line with hip. Last one here. And then bring the knee to meet the right. Let's take some big hip circles. So just start moving the hips around, either clockwise or counterclockwise. It doesn't matter. We'll do the opposite in a moment. Take the hips all the way back close to the heels. And then after your next full rotation, just find the opposite direction with your movement. Another big circle here. And then we'll come back to tabletop. We're going to keep the hips above the knees as we walk the hands forward, finding puppy pose, sometimes called melting heart pose. So your forehead and your forearms can come to the mat as you open through the upper mid and upper back mainly. So draw your core up and in. We don't want to sway too much in the low back here. If you want to, you can, if it's in your practice, you can bring your heart and your chin to the mat. That's a bit much for the neck, and definitely skip that. Couple more deep breaths here. We're just going to slide and pull all the way through to Sphinx pose. So ground the hips, the pelvis, the thighs, the full length of the legs. Take your elbows beneath your shoulders, palms press into the mat. Just imagine drawing your collarbones forward there. You want to pull your chest through, engaging your low back as well as your abdominals here, finding that strength and contraction in that area. That's what we're going for here, is strengthening the low back rather than forcing any really deep bend in that area. Soften down, release. Let's reach the arms long in front. Lift the legs and just flutter kick here. Gaze down to the front of your mat. Keep the spine neutral. So flutter kick the legs, the arms as well. For 3 more breaths. Keep it going here. And 1 more breath. Soften down. Let's press back to child's pose. You can take the knees wide or as wide as you'd like. Hips come back toward the heels. And just rest. Take 3 full breaths here. Letting the rib cage expand. Just focus on that area with your mind's eye. Picturing your rib cage expanding to the right and the left and the front and the back. We're going to meet in tabletop. Tuck the toes and hover in our tabletop on our way to downward dog. So lift your knees up, just hover them any height over the mat. I'm going to suggest maybe a few inches. Shoulders over your wrists and your gaze between your hands. Couple more breaths here. And then let's take the hips up high. Downward facing dog. Explore while letting your head just hang heavy, looking back towards your feet. Find some movement here. Couple more breaths. And then let's meet in a still downward dog for 1 full breath. Lift that tailbone to the sky. We keep the heels pressing back. On our next inhale, we're going to raise the right leg up. Breathe in as you reach the heel high. And as you breathe out, step forward. Keep the left knee high. Ground your left hand either to a block or to the earth. We're going to twist and reach that right arm up. Breathing in. And then on the exhale, just kind of thread the hand behind the knee. Inhale, reach up. We'll do that a couple more times. Exhale, just reach underneath that thigh and knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, thread it under. One more time, reach up. And then ground the right hand. Step your left foot forward just a little bit so you can ground it fully. Maybe it's on about a 45-degree angle. Coming into pyramid pose. I sometimes like to use my blocks for pyramid pose. Helps keep the length in the spine. So keeping that long spine. Folding over your right leg and drawing your right hip back. Just let your head be heavy again. Let it look back towards your left foot. Breathe into this deep opening in your hip and hamstring on the right. Another breath here. We're going to step forward to forward fold. Left foot meets the right at the top of the mat. Feet about hip distance or closer or wider, whatever works best for you. Start with that. And then just hang out in your forward fold. Maybe you notice a difference in the hamstrings. We've done a little bit with the right. Sway if you like, maybe grasping opposite elbows, palms of your hands. Head nice and heavy. And then let's find stillness. Come to a halfway lift. Breathe in. Reach that tailbone up as you find length in your spine. And then fold, breathing out. Bend the knees slightly. We're going to unwind all the way up to stand. Bringing the arms high. And then encircle your left wrist with your right fingers. Lean to the right as you bump the hips a bit to the left. Come on back up, breathe in, release that clasp. And as you breathe out, twist to the right, left arm forward, right arm back. And as you do this, feel your core at work as you're trying to keep your hips, those hip points, square to the front of your mat as your upper body twists. Breathe in, come forward facing, reach up, palms together, exhaling as you fold down. Long spine all the way. Halfway lift, breathe in. We're going to step back with our left foot. So again, lunge with the right leg leading. This time soften your left knee to the mat. And bring the hands up over the shoulders, arms over the shoulders, keeping the shoulders soft and relaxed. Let's find that cactus shape with the arms. So squeeze the shoulder blades active there as you're pressing that left hip forward. Let's bring the hands down to the earth. Send the hips back. Another nice hamstring stretch here. Briefly in our half splits. So draw your right toes towards your right shin as you lengthen that right leg. We'll come back, release to your low lunge. Tuck your left toes. We're going to step back to plank here. Take a few breaths in your plank. This can be plank from the toes or from the knees. Listening to your body today. Keeping that nice long line from your heels to your crown. Or from your tailbone to your crown if you're kneeling. And then softly lower all the way down. Just take it slow. Pressing up to a back bend. Inhale. Exhale, release, and find your way to downward facing dog. You can come through plank or table. And then take 2 breaths here in your down dog. This time, left leg's gonna rise. With a big breath in, reach the heel high. And on the exhale, step it through. Keeping high on your right knee. Maybe right hand grounds to a block or the earth. And we'll twist to the left, reaching left arm high, breathing in. Exhale, just thread the hand underneath your thigh and knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach it through. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, you reach the arm up. Exhale, reach it through. Last time we're reaching high. And then ground your left hand to the left side of your foot. Bring your right foot in a little bit so you can ground it. And lengthen your left leg. Maybe grabbing your blocks, finding your pyramid pose. Left hip drawing towards the back of your mat. Gaze also towards that. Maybe that right foot. Another breath here. And then our release is going to be to forward fold. So step right foot to meet the left, top of the mat. Take a couple of breaths here. And then rise to that halfway lift. Reach your tailbone towards the back of your mat as you lengthen your spine, strengthening here. Forward fold, breathe out. And then rising to stand, so take a little bend in the knees. Just slowly unwind the spine, bringing the arms overhead. This time encircle left, right wrist with left fingers. Bump the hips to the right as you lean to the left. Pull a little bit on that right arm. Inhale, come back to neutral spine. Release the arms this time to a twist. Right arm forward, left arm back as you exhale. Keeping the hip points parallel to the front of the mat. Big breath in, face forward once more, arms come high. Exhale, dive forward. Halfway lengthen when you get there, breathing in. And then exhale, plant the palms, stepping back with the right foot, this time coming to low lunge with the left leg leading. Bringing the hands up when you're ready to the thigh first, and then bringing them overhead. So think about tucking the pelvis, pressing that right hip forward. Let's come to prayer hands, and then bend the elbows, take the thumbs to the nape of the neck, press the back of your skull into your wrists and forearms. Release here, hands to the mat, send the hips back, finding length in your left leg. So another nice hamstring and hip stretch in your half splits. Last breath here. Let's come forward, low lunge, and transition to our plank pose. Plant the palms, step back. And here in our plank, take a little bit of a wider stance with the feet so that we can find stability in the low body. And we're going to take opposite taps to the shoulder. So right hand to left shoulder, bring it back to the earth, left fingers to right shoulder, bring it back, and then just carry on at your own pace, trying to keep the body from shifting side to side. Power in the core here, stabilizing you. 3 more each side. And then let's find a chaturanga here, or you can just meet in downward dog. So exhaling to lower, inhaling to press up to your back bend. And then exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Heart is pumping a little bit. Or a lot, if I'm honest. And then let's find stillness in our downward dog. Inhaling, raise the right leg high. Exhale, step forward. Coming to a high lunge. So bring the arms overhead. Encircle your left wrist with your right fingers, lean to the right. Come forward facing. Let's take that twist to the right, left arm forward, right arm back. And then from here, fancy move, we're gonna come into our warrior two. So sweep the right arm down, the left arm circles up. As you come forward facing, leading with your right knee, right arm. Settling into your warrior two, grounding down, taking a moment to feel your foundation. And let's flip the right palm, lean back as you reach that right arm up. Exhale, come forward, extended side angle. Right forearm can rest on your right thigh really lightly, stacking the shoulders, or you might, for a breath, reach your right arm forward. Return to your warrior two. Let's lengthen the right leg, flip the right palm and lean back. So another big reach, side body stretch. This time as we come forward, option to come into either triangle or half moon. So if you're coming to triangle, just reaching that right arm forward, pivoting, shifting here, reaching down with your right hand, up with your left. If you're coming into half moon, you might have a block for your hands. And it's the same idea, but we're gonna float that back leg up. So hard to talk and do it at the same time. So this is one that we can just throw in our practice for practice. If you come out, that's what yoga is. It's a practice. So ideally, we're stacking shoulders and hips if you're in half moon, just like as you would in triangle pose. It's a little more of a challenge, of course, to open. And that's the practice. Wherever you are, one more breath. And then we're going to bring the hand in front of the right foot, bring the left foot to meet the right. So you're in standing forward fold at the top of your mat. Breathe in, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Arms come high. Exhale, palms to the heart. Let's flow here. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, dive forward. Create that flat back as you breathe in. Reach the tailbone back. Exhaling, fold. Plant the palms. Step back to your version of plank. Chaturanga here, or just meet in downward dog. So exhaling down. Inhaling, back bend, cobra or sphinx, maybe up dog. And then your exhale finds you in downward facing dog. Take a breath here, reset. We'll do the other side, and then we're slowing things right down. So as you inhale, left leg's gonna rise. As you exhale, step it forward, setting up for our high lunge. Arms come over the shoulders. And as you settle here, we'll encircle the left wrist with the right fingers, lean to the left. Coming back to center, long spine forward. As you exhale, right arm forward, left arm back, taking your twist. Inhale, bring both arms high. Sorry, from here, we can do that, or we can find that fun transition. We're circling the arms and finding our warrior two. So left arm forward, right arm back, settling into your warrior two for a breath. And then we'll exalt by flipping the left palm and sweeping that arm up toward the sky. Reaching back a little bit. And then exhaling, coming forward to find side angle. Your version. We'll meet back in warrior two. Lengthen the left leg. Take your Reverse triangle here, reaching back, exalting as we did in Warrior Two, but that left leg is lengthened. And then coming forward, deciding whether you'd like to take your triangle pose or your half moon on the left. So half moon, we're taking the left fingertips to the mat or to a block, floating the right leg up, reaching to the sky with the right arm. Trying to find something to focus on, a drishti, something, a steady gaze somewhere to help with the balance. And you might notice left and right sides are a little different. We'll take another full breath in and out wherever you are. And then our release is going to be back to that forward fold. So whether you're in triangle or half moon, bring both of the feet to the top of the mat, folding forward, halfway lift, breathe in, forward fold once more. And from here, come up onto the toes, bend the knees. We're coming into a squat, like ball of yarn. I've heard this called before. Maybe you wrap your arms around your shins as you balance on the balls of your feet. Maybe you close your eyes, not for me, but you want to test your balance, you can close your eyes in this posture. And then from here, we're just going to find a seat. Keep the knees bent. We're going to soften right onto our spines. So engaging your core as you lower down, reach the arms forward, and just find a slow descent using control of the abdominals. When you get down here on your spine, we're going to take a supine twist. So there's different variations you can take. We're going to twist to the right first. So the right leg might lengthen, left knee bent with your right hand. You can guide the left knee over, or you can take a twist in that direction with both of the knees stacked, or you can cross your right thigh over your left. So just decide what version you'd like to take. Coming into this posture in stages, the knee drawing over to the right, maybe finishing with a gaze over to the left. And some full breaths here, into the belly, into the expanding the rib cage, into the upper chest as well. Slowly unwind in stages again. Bring your gaze to neutral. Then neutralize the hips beneath the shoulders, preparing for your twist to the left. Go ahead and come into that when you're ready. Maybe if it helps, imagining those opposing forces here, drawing the right shoulder blade and the right knee away from each other. Right shoulder blade drawing towards your mat, right knee drawing in the opposite direction to the left. Another full breath in and out. Taking some time to slowly release the posture, maybe lengthening legs long, reaching arms overhead, a full body stretch, maybe a happy baby before your Shavasana, or you come right into your Shavasana. I notice we're very close to that 45-minute mark. So I want you to have a few moments to settle in your Shavasana, taking time to feel the effects of all the work you've done today, body, mind, emotionally setting yourself up for a positive day, feeling maybe as if you've created a bit more softness in the body, and beginning the day with some spaciousness in the mind. Allow your breathing just to take place naturally. Allow the body to be fully relaxed, soft. Feel that sense of sweetness that you've created. Allow yourself to rest here, resting in balance and just being. When you are present in this moment, you break the continuity of your story of past and future. Then true intelligence arises, and also love. Eckhart Tolle. If you have the advantage of a little bit more time and space permit today, then you could rest a little longer in your Shavasana by all means. If you're ready to begin to release, just draw in some deeper breaths. Maybe find some small movements, even closed eyes behind the lids. Shifting your gaze side to side behind your closed lids, and then maybe rolling the neck, rocking the head gently side to side. Fingers and toes might move. And eventually, when you're ready, you might roll to one side, taking time for a breath there before pressing up to a seat. And from our seated posture, if you're seated, we'll take a breath in, communal breath here, reaching the arms high, drawing in all that positive energy, placing the palms together and just softening them to the heart with your exhale. And if you want to take time here for any thought that's going to help you today, support you, lift you up, maybe recall your intention, whatever it is, take time to go inward. I'm grateful for your presence today. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you have a wonderful day. Much peace. Namaste.